What's up guys, in this video I'm going to give you a masterclass on how to color grade in Premiere Pro. Now if you want to skip around, I've left some chapters below, but I'm going to turn this clip right here into this one right here. And the first thing you want to do to actually access the color grading panel in Premiere Pro is you select the clip like so, and all you have to do now is you go to the top right hand corner, click on color. I already have it open as you can see, and if you're in a rush you can just click on the auto feature. This normally does not do a lot to the clip itself, so the first thing that I actually want to do is I want to crank up the shadows quite a lot. Now it doesn't look that good right now, but the shadows are basically adding contrast to my clip, all the buildings in the clip. And then the next thing I do is I also like to turn down the whites a lot and turn down the blacks. Now you can mess around with this, but basically what the white and black does is, as you can see, it just adds more contrast to the current blacks in the clip and more contrast to the current whites in the clip. And then I also like to turn up the contrast a bit so we can get more contrast of the images in this clip, being the buildings, and turn up the exposure just a little bit. And that is the bare bones of color grading. However, if you want to go for a more impressive look to this clip, you could say, I would also crank up the temperature. Now this temperature basically adds more tints to the clip, making it more vibrant in the color scheme you want across your entire video. So I just like to turn that up a little bit, and then I also like to turn up the saturation a lot. Not to 200 specifically, but the saturation basically adds more color to the overall clip. As you can see, if you turn it down to 0, it makes the clip black and white, but in this case, if you turn it up to 200, it makes the clip very vibrant. So I like to just put that on around 100. It depends on the clip though, so I'd recommend messing around depending on the clip that you are color grading. But once we do that, we just want to go down into here and click on the creative panel, which is down here. You just click on that. It's going to bring you to this next pop-up panel in the color grading process. As you can see, we've got a sharpen feature. This basically just makes it dull or sharper the objects in the clip. In this case, I want the buildings to be a little bit more sharp than they currently are. So I'm going to put that at 16, and then I'm going to turn up the vibrance just a little bit. This basically adds more color. It's essentially saturation to this clip, but also turn up the saturation just a little bit. These two, vibrance and saturation, sort of work together. And if you want a little hint of highlights, you can just turn this down to the color that you want. In this case, I'm going to go for a little bit more red, so I'm going to turn this up a little bit towards here. And then if you actually go over to your effects control settings, as you can see, there's a luminary color option, but if we click on luminary scopes and then click on our clip as so, when it loads, as you can see, we've got a few panels here. We can either right click on this to see the histograms and actually see what we want to see. In this case, I'm going to turn on the waveform. Now the waveform, you want all of these waves sort of in the middle around the 50 mark in this clip, because if they're all up at the very top, I'll show you. But if they're all up at the very top or at the very bottom, you can see this clip is not balanced the way it should be. This is basically overall good guidance to have. As you can see, they're sort of in the middle right now, but if we turn this one thing up a little bit down too much, they're a little bit too low. But you essentially want all of these colors right here to be in the middle of the clip. But moving back on to HLS Secondary, this is one of my favorite settings. As you can see, when we're in the setting, we can actually select one of these color matching tools. In this case, I'm going to choose this one right here. It's called the eyedropper tool, and you actually want to select like one of the monochrome colors, like one of the lighter whites. In this case, I'm just going to choose this guy, and you can actually choose the shade of color you want this clip to be. As you can see, it's all gray right now, but when I let go, it actually just barely changes the color of the sky. And you can also do this for certain color buildings. In this case, if you select a red right here and you click on the eyedropper tool, select this red right here, you want it to be a very clear color, turn that up, and then turn on the saturation a little bit. It actually adds to it quite a bit. And also, if you scroll down here, you can also increase the temperature for these certain reds. As you can see, this is the red temperature. It's being changed for this clip. And if you want a little bit of a tint in this and maybe some more contrast, if you don't want it to be as dull, you can just turn that up like so. And as you can see, this clip is already looking a lot better. However, if we do want to add a vignette, which is basically adding some side barriers around this clip, we can either create a mask, or we can click on Vignette, which is the very bottom, and actually choose the amount we want it. As you can see, it shifts the focus of this clip, adding a little outline to the shot. It makes your eye focus on the very middle of the clip more. You can either add it white by increasing it all the way to the right, or left, which makes it black on the edges. In this case, I'm just going to do a little bit to the left, which makes it a little bit black, drawing your focus more to the center of this clip and even the road. And then I'm going to adjust the midpoint of this a little bit to the right, because I don't want it to be as apparent as it currently is. And as you can see, when I do that and then adjust the roundness, this basically is the feather. The feather is the amount that it gradually shows. In this case, I'm gonna increase it a little bit, and then increase the feather a whole lot too. And as you can see, if we click on this little FX thing in the top right hand corner right here, these are the before and after results of my color grading clip. If you found this video helpful, leave a like down below and share this with a friend who also needs to learn how to color grade to make their shots look a lot better.